Welcome to the Haunted Therapist Podcast, everybody. I'm Brett, your haunted therapist. And today we're stepping into a part of holiday folklore that most people avoid, but secretly crave, because December doesn't just have to be about like twinkling lights and cookie platters and curated joy. December has a pulse, a cold breath and a shadow, and no creature embodies that better than Krampus, the horned one, the punisher, the boundary setter, the ancient reminder that winter isn't just a season, it's a reckoning. And those of us that live in the snow states can attest. Today, we're going to explore Krampus through three haunted lenses: psychological, of course, paranormal, and cultural, because each one reveals something different, and together they tell a story we need now more than ever. So light a candle, lock your doors, and let's welcome the spirit who shows up when we've been trying too hard to be good. So before Krampus was a meme, before he was a Christmas horror movie cameo, he was a spirit that existed long before Christianity. We're talking old world, alpine folklore, a place where winter wasn't cute. It wasn't magical. It was life or death. Imagine. It's the dead of winter. Food is scarce. The nights are impossibly long. And the mountains feel alive in ways you can't explain. People saw figures in the snow. They heard bells and hooves. They felt watched. Out of that fear and that reverence came Krampus, a half-goat, half-man entity who roamed villages during Krampusnacht. I don't know. I can't say it. You know, maybe you don't. So it doesn't matter. Who knows what I said? Anyways, it was the night before St. Nicholas visited. While St. Nick rewarded the good, Krampus dealt with everything the community wanted to suppress. So chaos, wildness, punishment, darkness. But paranormal historians believe something deeper. Krampus wasn't originally evil. He was primordial, a winter god, a protector, a balancer, a being who absorbed the fears of the village so that winter wouldn't swallow them whole. Even today, people report sightings: a horned silhouette, heavy footsteps on snow, bells where no one stands. And every culture has a winter watcher. Ours just happens to have a name. Now let's bring Krampus into the therapy room. Krampus is one of the clearest metaphors for the shadow self in Jungian psychology. The shadow is every part of us we hide. So it's anger that we swallow, exhaustion that we ignore, resentment that we feel ashamed of, boundaries that we don't set, grief we mask with, "I'm fine, really." The voice that says, "This is too much," and we tell it to shut up because there are presents to wrap. During the holidays, this shadow gets louder because the pressure gets heavier. Psychologically, Krampus represents the self we banish, but still belongs to us. The emotions we judge, but still need care. The truth we avoid, but still lives in the body. He is the part of us that says, stop pretending and stop performing. Sit down and tell the truth. When you repress your shadow, it comes out sideways. Holiday burnout, snapping at your family, feeling empty when you're supposed to feel festive, scrolling endlessly to escape the pressure, overcommitting until you crumble. These are all modern day Krampus attack. But here's the therapeutic twist. Krampus doesn't show up to punish you. He shows up to protect you. He's the internal alarm system that warns you are abandoning yourself. Come back. And just like in the folklore, when he appears, St. Nicholas, the Lightbringer, can only follow after the shadow has been acknowledged. Culturally, Krampus is having a renaissance, and there's a reason for that. We live in a world obsessed with positivity, brand-friendly happiness, holiday cheer that photographs well. But humans have not evolved out of needing darkness, ritual, confrontation, catharsis. Krampus is one of the only holiday figures who makes space for the messy parts of being human, the emotional hangover of the year, the inner child who feels too much or not enough. The parts of us we think disqualify us from belonging. Cultures that embrace Krampus don't see him as scary. They see him as necessary. Krampus parades in Australia and Germany are loud, chaotic, cathartic eruptions. People literally chase their fears into the street, laugh at them, scream with them, move with them. It's shadow work in festival form. In a season of forced perfection, Krampus brings relief, permission, balance. He says, it's okay if the holidays hurt a little. It's okay if you're tired. It's okay if you're not your best self. The darkness is part of the season. Without Krampus, Christmas becomes spiritually incomplete, too sanitized, too bright to be real. We can't appreciate the warmth without the cold. We can't feel joy without acknowledging pain. We can't find light if we refuse to enter the dark. Krampus is the only one brave enough to take us there. So, haunted hearts, let's turn this into a moment of reflection. Haunted holiday check-in. Close your eyes if you can and take a breath. Ask yourself, what part of me have I been trying to shove in a sack this year? What emotion keeps rattling its chains for attention? What resentment? What exhaustion? What fear? What grief? What unmet need? And what would happen if, instead of running from it, you sat with it? Krampus teaches us that the parts we avoid don't disappear. They wait. But when acknowledged, when listened to, when given a seat at the table, they soften and they settle. They stop dragging us through emotional snowdrifts. Sometimes your shadow just wants to be invited inside so it doesn't have to break the door down. Haunted hearts, as you move through this season with its expectations, its pressures, its memories, and its ghosts, I hope you remember this. Light doesn't heal on its own. It heals when it has a shadow to contrast with. Krampus isn't the monster under the bed. He's the monster who keeps you honest, who reminds you that you're human, who makes room for the parts of you that hurt. So this December, be a season not of perfection, but of wholeness. I'm Brett, your haunted therapist, and I'll see you next time on the other side of the firelight where the shadows tell the truth.